Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another installment of our Powerplay Tuesday class. Today, we have a really important topic in an area that really most of us never stop learning in. So we have Martin Sines here, who's going to talk about solving some of your income challenges going into 2024. Obviously, what happens in the market in the past few years and what it's looking like in the coming years is always going to be a hot topic. So we have someone who has decades worth of experience and the alternative investment industry, going to educate a little bit today about how you can be mindful of how you're going into the new year. So with that said, we're going to do a quick disclaimer. Of course, for those of you who join our classes on a regular basis, it's important that you know that these classes are for educational purposes only. Quest Trust as an entity, it does not provide any form of tax, legal, or deal structuring advice. So it is really important that if that is the type of information that you seek, that you go through the proper channels of a financial professional, CPA, attorney to get that type of information. Before we dive into the presentation, just a quick reminder that Quest puts on a host of events throughout the year, a few that we will touch on at the very end of the presentation. I'll make a couple announcements about some really exciting things that we have coming up here, so certainly stick around for that. But with that said, I want to encourage everyone to put your questions for Martin in the chat today. We will be doing a Q&A at the end. And so with that said, we are going to go ahead, add you up to the screen. Hey, Martin, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Brianna. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. Here's the floor.
Today's topic is very important, given where we're at with inflation and just overall cost of living increases while wages continue to be stagnant for the most part. Today it's really just an honor to be speaking with the Quest IRA team. I've been a Quest customer for a while, so I just love the team. I love the portal, the customer service, the ease of use, and I've just had an incredible experience. So I really feel like I'm someone here sharing this topic as a peer. And so I hope that, you're able to kind of come away with a few nuggets. Now, the topic of, how to solve your income challenge in 2024 is really a topic about designing and growing a financial fruit tree for yourself that delivers monthly passive income to you in both a consistent and predictable manner. And this is very different, contrary to what Wall Street's plan for you is. And really their plan is for you to contribute to Wall Street's financial fruit tree and having them reward you as they see fit. And their plan, of course, is promoted by many powers to be in government, the banking system, the financial media, and overall educational system in the country. And it's really just no wonder why there's so much stress and anxiety around investing for most people. So I hope with today's topic, it will kind of give you more control over you and how you're designing and implementing your plan to achieve financial autonomy in your lives. Here's a list of the agenda for today. We're going to cover the topic of maintaining a living financial statement. We're going to talk about active versus passive income. What is an income fund? And some strategies on generating income for yourself. And then last is one of my favorite quotes from Pablo Picasso, and that is, action is the key to success. And so we'll kind of cover that just momentarily. Just so you know a little bit about myself, a little bit about BQuest, the presenters here today. I come from an entrepreneurial background. For the past 20 years, have been growing several businesses, have been growing an asset portfolio for my family. And it started in 2005 when my wife and I went on a quest to find financial freedom, and we launched a government contracting company out of the basement of our homes. we really at that time committed to. We didn't know. I didn't have this terminology of fruit tree and monthly passive income and all that, but I just knew we wanted to be financially free. We wanted to take control back over our financial situation. And what we found in business ownership, for those of you out there who have owned a business or have ran a business to some capacity, there's a lot of challenges involved. Starting from making payroll to ordering supplies, and then having to fulfill client orders, and then hoping that the money comes in through accounts receivable in time to pay for those supplies that you ordered, or paying credit cards with credit cards. And you can kind of go on the list of struggles, especially that many of my fellow small business owner brothers and sisters have experienced. But I tell you, when it does turn in a positive way and things do click, it can be really, really good for the soul to kind of do for yourself. In 2009 is really when we started becoming cash flow investors with the purchase of our first real estate building that we operated our company out of. And the next month, I bought the neighboring building. And really, every time we received some profit through the business, we rolled it into more properties, thereby snowballing the cash flow, snowballing cash flow for ourselves. But with all small business ownership, there comes points of time when you go through a burnout phase in one's life. So 2013, my wife and I started a family, and we sold our company in 2013. And so that was really just a life-changing moment. By the grace of God, my wife was able to stay home and raise the children, and I was kind of off to the next thing. Having the portfolio of commercial properties, I started buying mortgages from the secondary mortgage market. And I learned, I created systems and learned the art behind converting a non-performing mortgage to a performing mortgage. So really just like the creation of cash flow. And I did that for a number of years, and wrote my first book, Note Investing Made Easier, 2017. And one of the first people that read it is my business partner now, Sean Munyo. And we started working together in 2017 and just started building our portfolio of more and more mortgages. And we really were fully self-funded up until 2020 with our entire operation. So went 15 years of building cash flow, building assets with no investor money and almost no leverage. So I hope it's as grassroots as you can get. And but in 2020, my partner and I, Sean, we decided that we wanted to do something more for people outside ourselves, just ourselves. Building wealth for our families is incredible, but what if we can provide a greater good back to this world? Because so many people need more monthly passive income. Sure, it's great to cut expenses back, but at some point when a carton of eggs was $2 and now it's $10, for whatever reason, this isn't one of those webinars where we're going to go down the list and trash politicians and Federal Reserve, but for some reason we all kind of have an opinion on the cost of everything's just astronomical right now. And you can only work so many jobs or so many hours for income. So at some point there needs to be a focus and dedication towards building more monthly passive income in one's life. So 2020, we decided to spread monthly passive income to the world, and we launched an income fund called Bequest Funds. Now, everything starts with a living financial statement. And what I'd be happy to email anyone this living financial statement in Excel format. If you email Martin at bqfunds.com, that's Martin at bqfunds.com. I've been using this living financial statement. I created it myself, have been using it for about 12 years now. And it's incredible. It's an incredible guide that it has served for me and my family in that we look at income, expenses, assets, and liabilities from the perspective of a cash flow investor. And it starts with it actually starts with completing it, right? Completing the statement. And then on a regular basis, whether that's once every 2 weeks or once a month, completing and updating your living financial statement. And you're going to start with up top, where you're going to list what your why is for making this happen, for making this commitment, and developing the disciplines to maintain it. And then you're going to identify an accountability partner, either that's a spouse or a business partner or coach that you hire, or whomever it is, but it's a person in your life that is going to help hold you accountable for for reaching your goals that you're going to set for yourself. Now, in the income statement, we're going to identify active income versus passive income. And so for some of you, you may have zero or close to zero for passive income. Now, by passive income, I mean little to no effort is being exerted on an ongoing basis to receive that income, other than the initial vetting of the opportunity or of that asset that you purchased. But post-purchase, that asset should be just delivering monthly passive income like clockwork with almost zero effort. And so, for those of you who are landlording, I've been landlording for many years, so I can tell you that's not passive income. And even when you have a management company, which we have property management companies now, you're still managing the manager. And so example passive income would be like a mortgage loan that is set it and forget it. The homeowner pays a third-party licensed mortgage servicer every month, and then that you get an ACH into your account every month without even a thought behind it. So in this statement, you're going to set passive income goals for yourself because, as many of you know, when you're young, you have more of this thing called energy, and you have more availability with your time, for the most, generalizing, but for the most part. But as you get older, you have less energy, and you have other priorities that come into play in your life, things that you become passionate about. You're raising a family, etc. And so you're not able to devote, in theory, as much time and energy to active income. So you need to be working on your passive income when you're as young as you can be, because knowing that true passive income is better built over time, carefully, versus kind of one lump sum transaction when you're ready to retire from active income down the road. And it's more stable, sustainable when it's done that way. And that's how I've done it. So I'm speaking from experience, and so I hope I'm coming from a good place when I discuss that. Expenses, you're going to look at living expenses versus business expenses. Living expenses is day-to-day expenses, such as grocery store, going to the gas station, that kind of, or paying a car loan on a personal car. Business expenses are expenses related to liabilities that you take out to procure assets that produce monthly passive income. And then there's going to be possibly ongoing monthly expenses associated to the acquisition of those assets. But your monthly passive income should cover those business expenses. So that's just something you want to build in. Then you want to have a living expense goal for yourself. Now, as it relates to the asset section, this is really comes down to the power of categorization. And this allows you to be totally creative. A few categories that I like to put is liquidity. So I'll list out all my bank accounts and what those balances are. I'll have a passive income section that lists all of the notes I own. What other kind? I have, I've written 5 books. I have royalty payments coming in. I have some, various forms of passive income that just come in every month. And so I'll have those itemized out under the passive income section. Retirement, I'll have my beloved Quest IRA accounts and kind of show where their balances are at, as well as real estate holdings, just to kind of name a few. And then I have a Bitcoin section, as well as as I do acquire Bitcoin and some precious metals that I've been doing over the years. You're going to have goals assigned to the accumulation of assets in the various classes. And this is really the heart of your asset allocation. So it's kind of interesting, because if you go and trust a salesperson, i.e., financial planner, wealth manager, whatever they're calling themselves nowadays, then they're going to show you some pie chart, and they're going to say, well, we're going to take your $100 or your $100,000, and we're going to put this percent in here and this percent in there, and it's going to go in all these pie slices that they probably don't even have a penny in those categories themselves. They're just, they're working off the fees that they're charging you. And so this is a chance for you to really build your own pie chart in a methodical way. So you're building your own game plan for yourself. So this section is real important. And then the accountability partner comes in to help you hold you accountable and make sure you're headed in the right direction. Because as you can see, this is really like a roadmap for yourself. And the idea behind this financial statement is obviously the roadmap aspect, but it's really about helping you get to your monthly passive income goals and just build a better quality of life for yourself. So again, if you want this living financial statement, hit me up at martin@bqfunds.com, and I'll be happy to send that to you. So I also want to just say, this monthly passive income, it's very critical through the vetting of those opportunities that you're able to establish with a great deal of confidence that they're going to come to you in a predictable and consistent manner. And that's really the heart of things. This is kind of a close-up snapshot of, how I would recommend kind of getting started. Many of us, don't have a lump sum amount of money. Let's say, $3 million in the bank, just waiting to be deployed. And so you're really going to have to chip away at the rock. And the one way to do that is to either work with the current active income amount that you have, or somehow work to grow that active income for you and your family, and then divert a portion of that, 10%, whatever it is, into acquiring passive income assets that produce monthly passive income. And then if you can build that asset class for yourself, then you're in essence growing the passive income that's coming into you from an income perspective. And the beauty is the snowballing effect, where if you do this and get momentum behind this activity, then you can take portions of your active and passive income to further build on your passive income assets you have for yourself. And this kind of brings you back, like, if you recall, I kind of mentioned, for myself, we didn't deal with any investor capital until 2020, and this is really what I did. Every time we hit a good nut with a government contract, we wouldn't go buy a boat, we wouldn't go buy a big home. We would go and buy a real estate property that produced what I thought at the time was pure passive income, but it produced good income that we didn't have to do that much work towards. And they were mainly industrial properties, so I find those to be low maintenance if you're buying correctly. So the focus with here is on your income first and making strides, because this allows you to take chances, to work out growing pains, which you're going to have, and to build systems that provide stability and scalability. That's a fancy way of saying it just helps you build disciplines in your life in the area of financial stewardship. And the flip side is, if you don't do these things or have some design of your financial fruit tree all mapped out and you're working that game plan, what's going to happen is, and this is what happens with almost all the investors that don't have any design or preparation, they usually invest with impulse, emotion, chasing shiny objects, chasing shiny people. The good Lord knows there's plenty of shiny people out there in this world, on YouTube and various other places that have all this wonderful advice, financial advice for you. And what happens with a lot of folks is in doing this, you end up acquiring assets that don't produce monthly passive income, or don't do it in some sustainable fashion. And also, worst case too is that the assets themselves don't hold value, so they don't produce any income and they don't hold value, and they decrease in value over time. So there's a compounder app that I recommend everyone get on your iPhone, and you can get it on Android too, I believe. And this really deals with the power of compounding interest. And Albert Einstein said it well. He called compounding interest the eighth wonder of the world. He said, "He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." And why I bring this up here as a slide, as a point, is this will help you understand how you can grow your asset classes and convert these income producing assets from compounding to monthly distributions when you're ready to receive the additional income. We call this approach here at BQuest doing the math, because it lets you say that, okay, if I am, let's say, 50 years old, which I've just turned 50 this year, and I know that I'm going to retire in 10 years, or I'm sorry, in 15 years, and I'm going to need $8,000 a month in monthly passive income to live comfortably. Well, if in this case here, if I invested, because again, let's say I'm not one of these people that has $2-3 million lump sum in a bank account ready to be deployed towards passive income assets. I need to chip away at the rock and build slow. So I may put down $50,000 in this case into a trusted income fund that pays 10% annual preferred return. And I may add $2,000 a month for 15 years. And you see here that you're going to end with an investment amount of a little over $1 million. Then within, being in that same income fund, assuming it's an evergreen fund, which means that there's no expiration date to the fund, you're gonna call the fund operator and you're gonna say, hey, flip the switch. I'm done compounding. I need to get monthly distributions at this point in my life. So then they flip the switch, and voila, you start earning monthly income at $8,333. And the most beautiful part about this all is that when you're ready at some point in your life, or you're doing a legacy play to bequeath money down the line to family, you still have your investment value of $1 million. And so that right there, I want to bring you back to the fruit tree analogy. The fruit tree, why it's important you grow a healthy fruit tree is because you want to grow the fruit tree so that it produces monthly passive income fruit. So the fruit grows, you pick the fruit each and every month, you live off the fruit, and the tree remains healthy and produces for decades into the future, if not even longer. So in this case, you have grown a healthy fruit tree that has $8,300 fruit coming to you, dropping every month on the ground for you to pick up and eat for yourself. The flip side is, if you don't grow the monthly fruit tree, if you don't grow the financial fruit tree for yourself and your family, then you are going to continue to work, put a lot of effort in for active income, or you're going to be liquidating your investment value to live off the proceeds, which you're really cutting into your fruit tree, and you're slowly killing your own fruit tree to live. And I understand people have to do what they have to do, but I just want to kind of spend this time to let you know, hey, there's other ways of going about this that might be more advantageous to you and your family. And this also too, I want to bring it back to Wall Street. Wall Street likes to put in and have an air of mystery, and they use the fancy jargon. They have all the pretty marketing collateral, and really they want to impress upon you that you're not smart enough to handle your own financial situation, and you need to pay them a lot of fees so that they can do it because they're professionals. I want to encourage you to kind of look at these approaches here, because these are very simplistic by design, what we're discussing today. It's really the discipline behind maintaining it that is really the key. But if you do, then you take the allure out of this. You take the mystery out of building a retirement package for yourself, and which takes control and manipulation and fees away from Wall Street and other sales people that are trying to sell you on helping you with this. I want to say I'm not a financial planner. I don't give financial advice. I'm an asset manager, and 2/3 of our company is our assets that are privately owned by my partner Sean and myself. So I'm an investor at heart, and that's where I'm coming to you today from, that place. So just to recap, growing solution, in my opinion, if you don't have a lump sum amount of money, is you grow your active income, which allows you to increase your purchasing of passive income assets for you and your family that produces monthly passive income. Now, there are some challenges that I do want to touch on with growing active income, because it's one thing I'm like, oh, I'm going to go listen to this guy, Martin, midday, and he just told me I need to go, do more to earn more active income. Oh, great advice. There was just a waste of time. But want to kind of touch on this notion that if you plan, you want to plan in such a way where the active income activities that you're going to take on to grow your income so you can start investing more into passive income assets, that should be temporary by design. So you should be able to say, well, I'm going to do this over the stretch of 4 years, and I'm going to do XYZ. I'm going to write a book for royalties. I'm going to produce online training content and sell it on Teachable or Udemy. I'm going to, I'm going to get a second job. I'm going to sell Mary Kay, whatever it is. You're going to do it for 4 years, and you're going to earn such and such an amount with those efforts, knowing that you're going to be done at that point, and you're going to have already beginning the snowballing process of working towards building monthly passive income to yourself. Because as I touched on, as you get older, priorities change, energy level declines, and so you want to account for that in your planning. And so if we move on, like when we're talking about, the other thing you might be saying is like, hey, Martin mentioned, a growing passive income assets for yourself. But, I really having some challenges on where to start. I know Martin touched on a few things. So I just want to recap because there's a lot here. We're talking about designing and growing a financial fruit tree project for yourself. And again, completing and maintaining the living financial statement on a weekly or monthly basis. You can email me, martin@bqfunds.com. I'll send that out to you. Getting an accountability partner, being dedicated to being a lifelong student of financial literacy, and taking action to take steps to grow your active income that gets invested in assets or opportunities that produce consistent and predictable monthly passive income. The growth phase for your fruit tree really just comes from the discipline of doing the right things over the course of time. And you're not going to get it perfect out of the gate. You're not going to have the right why. You may not even have the right accountability partner. I hope that's not the case. You may undershoot the goal for passive income. Things may not pan out growing your active income. All these scenarios are going to occur. But if you have the right discipline and your heart's really in it, then you'll kind of find your way through things and be much stronger as a result. So these are 3 risk factors I want to touch on as it relates to vetting passive income opportunities for yourself. And the first starts with the operator risk. So, what is an operator? Well, operator is a general practitioner. It's the person or party or company that is going to go out and actively acquire and manage assets. And they're going to do so working with a lot of LPs, limited partners that are going to come with the money. So capital partners come with the money, give it over to the operator. Operator goes and acquires assets and then manages those assets. That's normally how it goes. So it's important to understand, what the operator's values are and passions, because you want to make sure that the operator's not in 20 different asset classes, that they have a focus, that they have an expertise, they have a track record in the asset class, that they're seeking your dollars for. And so how do you vet the operator? This is really an important question. And first question is, how much skin do they have in the game? I'm not talking about the sweat equity. They might burn the midnight oil managing the asset that you're funding, but how much money do they have themselves? in the opportunity? And so this is a very critical question. Like for us, we were building 15 years before we took our first investment dollar. So 2/3 of our company is our skin in the game. And so, you want to know, that you want to understand what kind of fund oversight is in place. Do they have a fund administrator that manages the books, that oversees the bank accounts, that manages the inflows and outflows cash-wise, that handles investor payments, investor tax forms, monthly statements, that kind of thing? How accessible are the operators? So can you call the owner of the fund and talk to that? I might want to buy some Apple stock later today. Can I get the CEO of Apple on the phone and ask him or her a few questions? I don't even know who it is because I don't have any money in the stock market. But yeah, I mean, like these are some questions. You want to be able to have a relationship with this individual or individuals that are managing your wealth, what you're building for yourself. It's part of having a healthy fruit tree is that you are, if it's not you that's doing the work, you need to have the relationship with the person who's doing the work for the health of your tree. And in terms of accessibilities, can you visit the operator? Do they work in out of their basement, or do they have an office with employees? And how, when you go visit them, how's the culture for the company? Does everyone look unhappy and miserable to be there? Is there good positive energy in the company? Also, how professional the marketing communication is. Are they doing quarterly updates? Are they having quarterly calls? Are they open and transparent with the financials? These are just some questions you really want to ask, and then you want to build a checklist for yourself so that when you're vetting various opportunities, you're comparing apples to apples, and you're able to. You might even want to do a scoring system so help you decide between various opportunities. The next risk is the capital preservation risk, and this really speaks to the asset class. So, and it also speaks to you, because if you kind of tie it back to when we talked about being a lifelong student, that's really about being a student of learning about how to vet operators, but also the asset classes you're investing in. If it's real estate, if it's residential real estate in the city of Detroit, it's like learning everything you can, going to local real estate club meetings in Detroit. And so then that way, the more you know about the asset class, the more you're able to adequately vet the operator. So let me say that again. The more that you are well-versed in the asset class, the better equipped you are to properly vet the operator, which really kills two birds with one stone. And, I want to know what the operator, has in place in terms of systems, processes for acquisition, due diligence, asset management, and portfolio management. So I want to know, how the team functions in each of those regards, because that'll tell me a lot. And again, the better I understand the asset class, the more I'm able to weed through, what I deem is BS and what I deem is very, very truthful, very truthful. And obviously you're going to ask for financials and other things too. So it's not just going to be an interview style, if you will. Now, last is the rate of return risk. And what's interesting is for those that the less you have a game plan, or the less you're prepared, the more that you're going to lean on rate of return risk first, because it's like a shiny object. And I'll give you an example. If I'm looking for an income fund because I know I need passive income, and I have not been a student, I've just work all my life, and I'm 65, and now I need to liquidate stocks and buy $1 million worth of an income fund, but I don't even know where to begin. And so what I may do in that case is Google search highest yielding income funds and start there, right? Start at the highest one and work my way down. But without properly vetting the operator or the capital preservation risk, there could be a lot of uncertainty with that, with the higher yielding income fund. And again, remember, the true monthly passive income comes to you in a consistent and predictable manner. So that requires proper vetting of these risk factors to ensure that you're getting back what you believe you're going to get back before you make the investment in the opportunity. And so you want to go back to the Living Financial Statement. You want to go back to the Compounder app, set goals for yourself for income. And then that way, once you've vetted an operator, you're like, oh, this operator's kick butt. Oh, this asset class is kick butt. I love it. I love oil and gas. I love residential real estate. I love Bitcoin mining, whatever it is. And you can look at the returns and know that they're realistic. Then you can plug it in to your Living Financial Statement goals against what your goals are to see if they're in alignment with getting you where your roadmap tells you need to be. And so that's the way I kind of want to bring it back. The next slide is a quick slide on what an income fund is. Essentially, a well-ran income fund is going to be a fund whereby you invest with an operator. The operator uses those funds to acquire income producing assets. I'm not talking speculation, or I'm not talking capital appreciation down the road, buy low, sell high, but an asset like real estate, like mortgages, like energy that consistently produce monthly passive income, by which that monthly passive income is taken and it's distributed to the investors on a monthly basis, which helps mitigate risk for the investors. Every time they receive a payment, their risk is mitigated by some small percentage amount, because they're getting returns on their capital there. And so one of the last main points I want to hit is really just having an investment philosophy for your company. So it's really not enough just to say, hey, look, I want to make as much money as I like to make. I found myself there years past when I was newer in business, and that's all I wanted to do: make $1 million, make as much money. I had these dreams, I'm going to buy a yacht, I'm going to be on the beach, and so on. And what you realize is that if you're not doing something greater than yourself for the betterment of this world, if you're not truly lending helping hands to people that are below you and need help up, if you're not giving back in a major way, then you're not going to truly be fulfilled and motivated. I found that out later in life, probably post 2013, when I started having a family, when I started getting into the mortgage note buys, and our company owns over 1,000 mortgages now. And what I found is I was helping homeowners stay in their homes with payments they can afford. With some medical office buildings we own, helping the patient community gain access to medical services. With some of the Bitcoin mining, some of the energy that we're doing, we're working with renewable energy programs. So we're helping capture methane gas and reusing it for the creation of energy and for various projects. So this is our philosophy, and you're going to want to create your own. It's going to help tie into your why on your living financial statement. But we invest in assets that produce monthly passive income in a consistent and predictable manner. Point blank, if it doesn't do that, we don't buy it. We need to have control over the outcome of the asset. Obviously, you can't control macro factors. There's some things, acts of God, that are outside your control. But for the most part, if you have systems in place, if you have an experienced team that's well led and motivated, then you can have a high confidence levels over the outcome prior to purchasing the asset. Community speaks to we invest in assets that lead to a better world. And if it doesn't do that, then we don't get involved. And then comprehensible speaks to understanding of the asset class. So we invest in mortgages, we invest in medical office buildings, we invest in also some various renewable energy projects. So most people understand, they can understand what those asset classes are. So we try to keep it simple. And just want to let you guys know we have our legacy fund. It is an income fund based on real estate and energy assets I just mentioned. It pays 10 or 11% annual preferred return. It pays on a monthly basis. And this is our second fund, and both funds have perfect pay history, on-time pay history for the past 4 years. So we have a real stellar track record. So what did we cover today? Action is the key to success. Is the quote I kind of want to leave you with, because it really comes down to action and building disciplines. We talked about solving your income challenge. It does take a lot of work, but you're building certainty around the outcome, and there's going to be temptation to just give your money to a fancy salesperson because they're saying all the right things, but that should give you the opposite of certainty around your outcome, in my opinion. And they're going to send it to some foreign land called Wall Street, where nobody knows where your money goes after it gets sent into the land of Wall Street. It all begins with building your roadmap. That's done with the living financial statement. Getting an accountability partner, becoming a lifelong student, growing your active income, and start investing that active income, or at least a portion of it, into assets that produce monthly income. Having a system by which you vet the assets prior to investing in them, and then also developing an investment philosophy for yourself to keep you on track as you grow your fruit tree. And without need of much mention here, having fun with the journey, and at some point, you can be a lending hand to others who need to be lifted up. And with that, I'll open it up to questions. And this is Sean's information. He can send you the living financial statement too. And then you can go to the link bqfunds.com/free gift to get access to a $5 coffee gift card, all the educational material, a copy of my last book, Cash Flow Dojo. You can get a PDF copy of that on with that link as well. So all free, and just want to say that. But if you have any questions, I'll be happy to entertain anything.
Yeah, we have a question here from Phil. He asks, do you do any oil and gas investments? And if so, are the tax benefits available to your investment partners?
So I have some oil and gas leases and some investments personally, but we do not have any through our funds at the time. Our funds, everyone receives a K-1 at the end. a portion of the income goes towards interest income, which is essentially ordinary income, and then another portion goes towards capital gains, which is taxed at a different tax rate. But it's usually a 75-25 split, 25 going to cap gains.
Great. Thank you for answering that. One
Mm-hmm.
more from Phil. He asks, what are your time terms?
Sure. For the legacy fund, it's 2 years for a time commitment.
Great. That looks like all we have in the chat right now. So we'll give people a few moments to ask any questions that they have last minute here. But I do want to kind of reiterate a couple points that you make. A lot of the conversations that we have on the IRA specialist side with people looking to transition out of the public market, there's a lot of things that they're looking for. First and foremost, diversification, which you touch on a lot throughout this presentation. Being able to put your investments into something tangible, also something that you talk about, really, really important in this day and age to have something that, you can fully trust behind it. So I appreciate you touching on that in depth and all of the due diligence that goes into doing what you do. While we, collect any last thoughts on yourself, whenever you have made these transitions over to the alternative investment side, you talk about social investing, which again is something we highlight as a benefit, something that you can do for your community, incorporating, your values into your goals. Can you talk a little bit about that, or at least any last thoughts for the audience in that regard, just so we can kind of wrap up in a way that really lets people know what Bequest is all about?
Yeah, sure. So, it's interesting because the whole, there's been so much discussion around ESG type investments. There's been a lot of discussion about how a lot of them have not panned out financially, and you've heard, various discussions around that. And so this is why it's very important to have your own investment philosophy, because there is a way to be socially conscious. There is a way to invest where you're benefiting the most amount of people that can be benefited from that investment opportunity. But then if you tie it into very strict goals around cash flow and control, then you can make it work. It forces your hand to use these buying parameters that you set for yourself in given asset classes that you have competence in, so that you can figure it out how to make a better world while you're investing in assets that you understand, having controls in place, and knowing that those assets are going to cash flow.
Very well said. I appreciate that. I know that's something that actually comes up a lot more in conferences these days, when people talk about how things really took a turn for them for the better when they were able to align those two things, their goals and their values. So I appreciate you touching on that in such depth. I do have actually one question that popped up during our chat. Matt asks, if a preferred payment were to be missed, is it going to be accumulated?
Yes, yeah, it'll accumulate on everyone's balance, and then it'll be paid as soon as it can be paid. But we have a really neat chart that that we have on our tear sheet, and it shows each month the income, the total income that was received in versus investor distributions, and there's always a healthy buffer between the two. So we monitor that metric very closely. That's a good question.
Great. And just a reminder for the audience, I believe your email is martin@bqfunds.com. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
Perfect. All right. Well, if you have any additional questions, if you're curious about some of the opportunities that are out there with Bequest, feel free to send either Sean or Martin an email. We want to, of course, thank you for joining us today and sharing this education with our audience. It's greatly appreciated. And with that said, I think we're going to go into some announcements, unless you have any last thoughts.
No, I appreciate being here. I love Quest. I've been a customer for a while, and I got hooked when I went to your expo in Houston, and the team is beautiful. The service is outstanding, and just keep doing all the awesome things you guys are doing. So I appreciate everything.
Oh, thank you so much, Martin. We appreciate you. And for everyone as well, just to let you know, this is going to be archived on our YouTube page. So if you jumped in a little bit late, you need to revisit some of the information that was presented, visit us, see Martin again on our YouTube channel, and also on Facebook. But thanks so much, Martin.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to go in and with the same theme of thinking for the long term, building that path for the next generation, holding on to some of the wealth that you can accumulate today for the long term. We have a extended self-directed IRA Saturday class. This is going to be coming up on March 23rd. So this is focused more towards millennial investors. So for those of you out there who are trying to get your children onto the right path, or maybe you're a young investor yourself looking for some more education, we have a lot of really great investors in this category who are going to come and talk to you about how they got started, where they found their success, and in the long term, where they see that going. This again actually has a focus a little bit on social investing. So you'll get to see some interesting topics that come up within the 3-hour event. It's a free to register class. So I would recommend scanning this QR code here. You can also click on the link that our moderators have put in the chat today. That will take you right to the registration page. That way you can get alerted once that event starts as well. So I would highly, highly recommend this for any budding investors just looking for some more information on what's out there. The next one I want to bring up, this is a really special event for Quest, something that we haven't been able to do before, but we are going to make the social that we have coming up in May bigger and better than ever. It is focused on veterans that have gone on their investing journey after the fact. And so we're going to have some, again, knowledgeable speakers in this area come and talk about their journey, essentially going through the process of getting out of the military and finding these different avenues that they can seek success in. There'll also be a charity component to this for those who may be looking to open up an account within that month. We'll explain a little bit more about that if you visit the link in the chat, but we highly encourage you to get out there if you are going to be in the Houston, Austin, or Dallas area in May. That's going to be a really, really great event. Our final social before our large expo, which will be happening in June. So Martin did talk about this just briefly, and I want to let everyone know of a special promotion that we have going in the month of February. If you are looking to sign up for a consultation to learn a little bit more about Quest, we're offering you a $100 voucher to take off that ticket price for the expo if you do sign up for that consultation. There was a blast that went out if you're on our newsletter, so feel free to schedule there. You can also reach out to me or any of our other IRA specialists. We'll be very happy to help you out. But just so you know, if you're not familiar with the event, this is a very large trade style show that we host every other year. The focus isn't solely on IRAs, it's on alternative investing as a whole. So we'll have someone there representing from every nook and cranny of the alternative investing market, CPAs, attorneys, all over the board, just to really put out all of the information that could potentially be available to you within the next year. And maybe you could get started as well. So if you would like to register or just learn a little bit more about the event, please scan the QR code here. And if you'd like to schedule a consultation, you can scan this right now. And this will allow you to schedule that right through our calendar. And then from there, we'll provide you with the voucher if you'd like to attend the expo with us. And with that said, I do see that someone mentioned the veterans presentation being online. We will be hosting at least one of those classes online as well, so it should be hybrid. We'll let you know, again, more details as we get closer, or I just recommend, clicking the link and seeing if you can register for the online portion. I don't think they all three will be, but certainly at least one. So we'll have all of that information available to you as it comes up. But that's about all I have. As we close out, I'll leave this QR code up there for anyone who wants to scan it. But as always, we appreciate you all coming here today to learn a little bit more about all of the opportunity that is out there here for you. And we hope that we see you next time. We have our Saturday class coming up at noon this weekend. We'll have someone coming to talk about tangible assets in an inflationary market. This is someone in the oil and gas industry. So if that's something that interests you, we certainly would love to have you on. Again, you can register on our events page. So everything is all centralized there for you. But with that said, we close out today. We appreciate again all of you, and we will see you next time.